Hey everyone! Welcome back! In today's important update, we're diving deep into a major development that could impact millions of Social Security beneficiaries across the country. If you rely on monthly Social Security payments or know someone who does, you'll definitely want to pay close attention. There's growing momentum around a proposal that could bring the minimum monthly benefit up to $1,340 for everyone. Yes, that's right, $1,340 every single month. So let's unpack what's going on, where this number comes from, who it would affect, and what this could mean for you or your loved ones. If you've been following Social Security news for a while, you've probably seen dozens of ideas and proposals come and go. Some promising, others, not so much. Over the years, lawmakers, advocacy groups, and economists have pitched everything from cost of living adjustments, COLAs, to means testing benefits, to fully overhauling the Social Security system altogether. Now, in 2025, one of the more attention-grabbing ideas is gaining traction again, setting a national minimum Social Security benefit equal to the federal poverty line, which for this year translates to a monthly payment of $1,340 for a single individual. Sounds like a game changer, right? It could be. But as always, the devil is in the details. Let's break this down clearly. The federal government defines the poverty line for a single individual in 2025 as $15,650 per year. If you divide that by 12 months, you get $1,340 per month. This amount represents the bare minimum that an individual needs to survive in the U.S. according to federal guidelines. However, the sad truth is that millions of Social Security beneficiaries receive less than that, even far less, each month. That includes retirees, individuals on SSDI, Social Security disability insurance, survivors, and spousal beneficiaries. So the question becomes, shouldn't Social Security at least ensure that beneficiaries aren't living in poverty? Now, there are two main versions of this proposal floating around, and they're quite different in how they'd affect beneficiaries. The first idea, the more popular and arguably more logical one, is to establish a floor, meaning no Social Security recipient would receive less than $1,340 a month. If passed, this would provide a substantial boost to millions of low-income recipients, especially those currently scraping by on as little as $500, $600, or $700 a month. This wouldn't affect higher earners or those already receiving more than $1,340 monthly. It simply brings the bottom tier up to a more livable baseline. It's not a full fix, but it's a step in the right direction. Now here's the second proposal, and this one's a bit more controversial. It suggests making everyone's monthly benefit the same $1,340, regardless of work history, contributions, or earnings. This would transform Social Security from an earned benefit system into more of a universal basic income model. Sounds fair at first, until you realize this would cut benefits for millions of Americans who've worked for decades and currently receive much more than that amount. Someone who paid into the system for 40 years and earns $2,000 plus a month in benefits might see their income slashed to match this equalized figure. That's a tough sell. Needless to say, raising the floor without capping the ceiling is far more realistic and widely supported. Let's talk about how many people this would affect. According to recent data, over 10.8 million Social Security recipients currently receive monthly benefits that leave them below the federal poverty line. And that's before factoring in inflation, rising healthcare costs, rent hikes, and other financial pressures. If you include people who receive some additional income, say, part-time work, pensions, or help from family, but are still struggling overall, that number jumps even higher. And the most painful part? The minimum Social Security benefit for 2025 is just a little over $50 a month in some cases. That's not a typo. $50. It's barely enough to cover a week's worth of groceries or a single utility bill. This is why proposals to increase the minimum monthly payment to $1,340 are getting more attention. It's a clear way to tackle senior poverty and improve quality of life, without punishing those who paid into the system longer. If the flat benefit idea were somehow adopted, where everyone gets $1,340 regardless of earnings history, it would turn Social Security into a kind of guaranteed basic income, GBI program. But this raises big questions. What happens to those who paid into the system at higher levels? How would we ensure fairness across different work histories? Would this model disincentivize long-term contributions? This version of the plan is unlikely to gain widespread support, as it would reduce benefits for tens of millions while helping others. It creates winners and losers, Never a good political strategy. Let's be real. Raising benefits doesn't come free. So, where could the funding for a $1,340 minimum benefit come from? Trust fund investments. Social Security has around $2.7 trillion in its trust fund. If this money were properly invested, even modestly better than the current returns of just 2.4%, it could generate hundreds of billions in additional revenue annually. Payroll tax cap adjustments. Currently, income above a certain threshold isn't taxed for Social Security. Lifting or modifying this cap could inject billions more into the program without touching benefits. Closing loopholes and tax reform. Corporate tax loopholes and certain ultra-high net worth tax shelters could be addressed to redirect funds towards Social Security. Eliminating fraud and waste. A small but meaningful part of Social Security's budget is lost to administrative inefficiencies and fraud. Cleaning this up would improve solvency. Additional proposals. Some economists suggest a small national sales tax earmarked solely for Social Security, or modest increases in payroll taxes over time. So, yes, funding is a challenge. But it's not impossible. Right now, there's no finalized plan from Congress to implement either version of the $1,340 minimum benefit. That's the frustrating part. Despite years of discussion, lawmakers from both parties still haven't agreed on a comprehensive Social Security reform bill. But momentum is growing. Advocacy groups, seniors organizations, and disability rights coalitions are increasing pressure. And the more people talk about it, the more lawmakers will be forced to act. In 2025, we're at a crossroads. The cost of living is rising. Economic uncertainty is real. And millions of seniors, people with disabilities, and other Social Security recipients are stuck trying to survive on far too little. Whether or not you personally receive benefits, this issue affects us all, either now or in the future. These benefits aren't just numbers on paper. They're food on the table, medicine in the cabinet, peace of mind in retirement. That's why it's so important to stay informed and engaged. If this information resonated with you, or you know someone who could benefit from it, please do these 3 quick things. Subscribe to this channel for more Social Security updates, financial news, and policy breakdowns. Share this video with friends or family who rely on Social Security or care about these issues. Your support truly means the world, and I'll keep working hard to bring you the updates that matter most. Stay safe, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video.